I've been an ER nurse or an ICU nurse since 1999. So without actually telling you how old I am, I've been a nurse. I went into nursing school about 28 years ago. I've been doing this a long time, and I've worked almost every unit that a hospital has to offer. Currently I'm doing ER and loving it. Love the change, love the variation in what I get to see every day. Travel nurses have to have usually a minimum of 1 year's nursing experience in whatever specialty that you want to work in. So how does one become a travel nurse? Well, you have to be comfortable in whatever specialty you're in. You have to be able to go to a hospital, go through 1 day of orientation, 1 day on the floor orientation, maybe 2 if you're lucky. And you gotta hit the ground running. So you have to know your skills. They don't have time to teach you and do a 6-week orientation like if you were new and coming onto a unit to be full-time staff. Orientation in hospitals for full-time staff is usually a week. They go over every policy, every procedure, everything. Travelers usually only get 1 day. You get a quick tour, you get your parking pass, your badge, you figure out where your unit is, you talk to scheduling, and they do some education that they have to do. There's always a checklist you have to fill out. Yes, I learned this. I've got 400 or 500 slides on health streams that I need to go through before I can start on the floor nursing. And that's your onboarding. You show up, quick orientation, hit the ground, and you're a nurse on the floor. Travel nurses are there to support full-time staff. You're there, you cover maternity leaves, you cover crisis staffing if they've had a turnover. A lot of management turnover equals a lot of staff turnover usually. New policies, new procedures. Nurses don't like change, and the one thing that is constantly changing is everything. So we go in, we prop the staff up, help get their numbers and their staffing ratios to where it's not quite so stressful, and then we move on. We don't get involved usually with the politics. We don't get involved with the policies. You're there as a resource and as a help to them when they're struggling for staff. Right now I'm doing crisis staffing for COVID-19. I've gone from Florida up to just outside of Baltimore, and I'll be working in the emergency room. I am there to help out, and every unit has their own flow. I'll be working the 11 to 11 shift, so mid-shift splits, half days, some nights, and my contract is 48 hours. Typically a contract is 36 hours a week, 3 days, 3 12-hour shifts. This particular contract, they are paying extremely well, and the contract is for 4 days a week. They do have the right to cancel. I think it's 1 shift every 2 weeks. I'm okay with that. I'm not used to doing 4 days every day, but for this kind of money, I'll do it for 13 weeks. I'm getting too old to be pulling 300 shifts in a row. I think the most I've ever done in a row was 27 days. And that was when I was much, much younger. And yeah, I don't do that anymore. I do my 3 days, I come in, I work, and then I go home. You have to have a hobby to do. Some people explore, some people shop. Shopping's not good if you're traveling. You have a limited space in whatever vehicle you're running in, and you learn to minimize, downsize, live with the bare essentials. There is a triad that needs to be considered when you're looking for a travel assignment. You can have good pay, good location, or a good shift. Very rarely can you find all three. It's like this magical unicorn. Living in Florida, great location, lousy pay, and they had choices of day shift or night shift. Baltimore, okay location. This is gorgeous. I'm glad I found this. I think this is actually going to be one of those rare unicorn assignments. I found a great place to live, decent price, close to parks. The pay right now is phenomenal due to the fact that it's crisis staffing. And I got my mid shifts. I got an 11 to 11, which means I don't have to do overnights. I like my mid shifts. It means I don't have to wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. I can sleep until 8, 9 if I really push it, and then get up, go to work, be home by midnight. It's amazing. I love my mid shifts. So how do you find housing? There are a number of different resources. There's Furnished Finder, which is mainly what I use. It's a apartment housing finding application. I'll put a link below for short-term housing for travel nurses. This is what this place or this website caters to, specializes with. You go in, you type in where you're going, and it pops up. Do you want a hotel? Do you want a room? Or do you want a single unit or your own place? Furnished Finder for me has been really good. I've used Craigslist a couple times before I knew what Furnished Finder was. There's also roommates.com, Airbnb, which is extraordinarily expensive. The place where I'm staying is an Airbnb, but she has a travel nurse rate, which is different than her Airbnb rates. I do get a discount, huge discount, for a monthly stay, and currently my rent is under $1,000 a month, which is absolutely fabulous. There are places here in Baltimore that were $2,200 a month for like a one-bedroom apartment. So I consider myself really lucky to find where I am at. It's a nice house, it's tiny, it's quiet, it's got a decent backyard, and it's close to this.